I heard the first shout before I saw the circle. No one can help you. The words ripped across the school lawn like a rock through a window, and for one suspended second even the birds stopped talking. New student awkwardness is ordinary, this felt like a warning. I rounded the oak tree and found 4 kids hemming in a girl I had never seen before. She hugged 2 textbooks to her chest, shoulders square, chin lifted. Dylan, tall, smug, the kind of boy who collects laughs like coins, hooked a finger into the pocket of her skirt as if yanking a loose thread out of the day. His friends waited for the laugh they'd ordered. A handful of students hovered at a safe distance, phones half raised, the way people hold umbrellas when they want to stay dry but still watch the storm. The girl's gaze didn't drop. If anything, her eyes grew quieter, the way a lake grows still right before the surface breaks. I'm Eli, the kid who always has a plan and almost never uses it. Still, something in her stillness made my spine remember how to stand. I stepped in until my shadow brushed hers. Cut it out, I said. My voice came out steadier than the drum in my throat. First week is hard enough. Dylan tilted his head like a cat tracking a laser dot. We're being welcoming, he said, tugging again to earn another chorus of giggles. The girls flanking him, Marissa and the twins, rolled their eyes in sync. Somewhere a whistle blew at football practice, and the normal world kept moving. The new girl shifted her books to one arm and, with a small breath, said, "Count of 3. Dylan leaned in, smirk ready. Or what? 1, she murmured. He opened his mouth to answer, already rehearsing the insult. 2. Her knees softened almost imperceptibly. 3. What happened next wasn't flashy. It was precise, like a correct answer written in clean, small handwriting. She wrapped her hand around his wrist and drew a tiny circle, borrowing the momentum he'd built. With a single step to the side she let gravity complete the sentence. His fingers opened as if they'd decided on their own to apologize. He lurched and caught himself, more surprised than hurt. She released him before he fell. No slap, no kick, no triumph pose, just the kind of balanced movement that seems obvious only after it's done. The crowd's laughter fell away so fast the silence rang. Coach Reynolds's whistle shattered the moment. He barreled in with his clipboard and the authority of 1,000 attentions, scattering us like pigeons. He hadn't seen the move, only the circle and the red faces. Back to class, he barked, and the day snapped back into rules. As the crowd thinned, the new girl glanced at me. There was gratitude in her eyes, but also something steadier, acknowledgement that she'd handled the danger and still appreciated that I tried. I watched her walk toward the building, completely composed, like she'd set down a heavy box and would pick it up only if truly necessary. By final bell, the lawn incident had mutated into a legend with 10 endings. In one version she flipped Dylan into the grass. In another she whispered a spell from a secret country. The truth, clean movement, borrowed momentum, wasn't bright enough for the internet. I found her at the bus loop studying a crumpled map. "You okay?" I asked. "I'm okay," she said. "I'm Amara." The name fit her, cool water over hot stones. "Thank you for speaking up. You didn't look like you needed backup." "Everyone needs witnesses," she said gently. "Even people who can end things." The next morning a note appeared on her locker in fat block letters, "You will pay." She peeled it off, studied it as if it were a receipt she planned to dispute, and slid it into her pocket. She ate lunch under the trackside maple with earbuds in, the universal sign for, "I'm fine," which actually means, "Please don't make me keep explaining myself." I sat a few feet away and pretended to study until pretending felt silly. "You move like you've practiced 1,000 times, I said. "More than 1,000. She tapped a pencil against her notebook in an even rhythm. "Karate. My mom signed me up when I was 8 and couldn't stop trying to fix everyone else's arguments. It taught me to fix my breath first." "Black belt?" I asked, half joking. Black belt, she said, not boastful, just biography. My cousin did taekwondo, I told her. He said martial arts are really about control. It's really about respect, she corrected softly. Control is a tool. Respect is the point. By afternoon the twins had posted a mocking video, streamer paper tied around their waists like belts, bowing theatrically to each other. The comments multiplied like weeds. Someone suggested settling it at the park after school. A line like that slides across a cafeteria faster than spilled soda. At home I told my mother because my chest felt too full to keep it. Make goodness visible, she said, stirring a pot on the stove. Bullies prefer shadows. The next morning I printed signs with Rosa from yearbook and Mateo from robotics. This is a respect campus and everyone belongs. Cheesy, maybe, but visible. We posted them in hallways and near the lawn. We asked Coach if the principal could do a 2-minute reminder about the anti-harassment policy. The speech was short and half the school tuned out, but it planted a reference point, a stake in the ground that said, "Here is home base if you need it." Dylan hated the signs. He flipped one upside down and called it modern art. "You think paper protects you?" he sneered. "Park. After last period." He said it loudly enough that the words became an invitation and a dare. I sprinted to the library where Amara was returning a book on galaxies. "Don't go," I said. "It isn't worth it." "It isn't," she agreed. "But it might be necessary. I won't start a fight. I will end a circle." We compromised, she wouldn't go alone. We gathered our people, Rosa, Mateo, Kira from debate, Jamal from theater, kids with voices, not fists. We let Coach overhear our plan by asking him about track schedules, and he decided to take a late afternoon walk by the park. Then we went, not as a posse, but as witnesses, the way porch lights line a street. The basketball court looked different in daylight, like a stage with the curtains open too early. Dylan stood in the free throw lane with the twins and Marissa, their laughter stiff, their courage rented. A ring of students formed, phones tilted upward like tiny suns. Amara set her backpack beside the painted key, stepped into the circle, and bowed toward the space, not toward them. "I don't want to fight," she said. "Walk away and we all win." "No teachers here," Dylan crowed, failing to notice Coach leaning against the fence in sunglasses. "Just outcomes." "Then I choose mine," Amara said, and for a heartbeat she closed her eyes. When she opened them, even the breeze seemed to wait. He lunged with the sloppy urgency of someone chasing his pride. Amara didn't strike. She moved, one step off the line, a pivot, a guided hand that let his momentum slide past her like rain down a roof. He landed on one knee, startled by the weight of his own anger. He surged again. She repeated the lesson with the patience of a coach correcting posture. The twins rushed together, throwing arms rather than thoughts. Amara managed distance with her feet, not her fists, shaping the space until their wild swings met harmless air. She didn't humiliate them, she simply refused to be dragged into their chaos. The crowd sound changed. Jeers thinned into a hush that felt almost like respect. We weren't watching a fight. We were watching a boundary, steady and bright. Coach stepped forward. "Show's over," he said, the kind of authority that gives the crowd permission to stop pretending they wanted blood. Students drifted away in clumps. Dylan, panting, pushed to his feet. For the first time I saw the boy under the bravado, the one who didn't know where to put his hurt. Amara bowed, not sarcastic, not submissive. "It's not too late to be someone else," she said, just loud enough for him. He didn't answer. He shoved his hands into his pockets and walked off. The twins trailed him, glaring back with expressions that already looked tired. Peace didn't gallop in. It seeped, like rain that soaks the ground and leaves it changed. The posters stopped looking corny. Teachers noticed sooner when whispers sharpened. A few students, shy ones, kids I'd never heard speak in class, left notes in Amara's locker. Thank you for today. You made me brave enough to join art club. Jamal asked her to help choreograph a stage combat piece for the spring showcase. She agreed on one condition: safety and consent weren't just fine print, they were the headline. The real test didn't arrive as another confrontation. It came as a faulty fire alarm on a rainy Thursday. Steam filled the hallway and bodies packed tight. A small freshman got pinned near her locker, sobbing. Before anyone else moved, Dylan stepped in front of her and raised his voice with a steadiness I hadn't heard from him. Give her space. The crowd obeyed, maybe surprised to remember that leadership could come from a mouth that once sprayed mockery. Amara appeared beside him. Together they shepherded the girl to the doors where the air was clearer. For 3 minutes, the person who had promised, "No one can help you," did exactly that, help. Of course, ignorance tried new costumes. Someone muttered, "Angry black girl," when Amara corrected a sloppy group project with precise suggestions. She didn't flinch. She held the speaker's gaze and said, "You can call me by my name," then returned to the work. Another boy joked about her karate chopping homework. She laughed first, if only, and then added gently, "Words bruise too." People started catching themselves mid-sentence the way you do after seeing how a careless comment lands on a real person. Many afternoons we ended up on the bleachers while the sun stretched long shadows across the track. I asked if she ever wished she didn't have to be strong. "Every day," she said. "But strength isn't armor you wear. It's a muscle you build, and sometimes rest." I rest with stories, with the sky, and with friends who see me instead of what I can do for them. I asked if I counted as one of those friends. She bumped my shoulder with hers. "You tried before you knew the ending," she said. "That always counts." Showcase week arrived with paper tickets and the sweet smell of popcorn. Between scenes, Jamal's group performed the fight sequence Amara designed: careful feet, clear boundaries, a bow to the space at both ends. After the applause faded, she and 4 students in white GIs stepped into a square of pale light and performed a short kata together. They moved like a tide changing its mind, quiet, exact, inevitable. Dylan did the voiceover from the booth. He didn't confess or beg. He simply spoke a truth I didn't know he had learned. "We used to think power meant making someone else small," his voice said. "But real power is the calm that chooses not to hit back, the respect that keeps everyone safe, and the courage to change your next move." The gym fell into a thoughtful silence before the applause rose like weather. Parents clapped for choreography. Students clapped for possibility. Teachers clapped because they could hear what it would sound like if this became the rumor that actually stuck. Finals slid by. Yearbooks collected signatures like constellations of gratitude: "Stay kind, stay bold, keep bowing to the space." On the last Friday before summer, Amara and I sat under the oak tree eating popsicles that turned our tongues ridiculous colors. I asked whether she believed in happy endings. "I believe in honest middles," she said. "Happy visits. Honest stays." Across the lawn, 2 7th graders practiced skateboard tricks and fell laughing. She watched them, smiling softly. "They'll make their own mistakes," she said. "I hope they make new ones, not the ones we already learned from." I stared at the patch of sky framed by leaves and thought about circles, how easy it is for them to form, how hard to keep them from closing around someone. You ever think about what would have happened if Coach hadn't shown up that first day? I asked. "I do," she said. "And I remember something my sensei used to repeat: you don't train to defeat people. You train to defeat your worst instincts. If the worst instinct is fear, you breathe. If it's anger, you choose a different move. If it's pride, you bow." I nodded. "So the belt doesn't mean you win. It means you know how not to lose yourself." "That's it," she said, and for a moment the oak leaves stirred like they agreed. If you've ever stood in a circle of laughter that wasn't friendly, hear this. Calm is not surrender. Calm is intelligence negotiating with adrenaline. You don't have to be a black belt to draw a boundary. You can step aside from someone's anger instead of swallowing it. You can borrow momentum, return it, and keep your dignity. Find allies, maybe a kid like me who hesitates but still shows up, maybe a Rosa with a printer and a plan, maybe a coach who knows when to lean on a fence and end the scene with one sentence. Ask for help not because you are weak, but because you deserve to live without fear. And if you've been the one tugging at someone's pocket, convinced that power grows when you make another person small, I hope you remember Dylan's voiceover and the way his hands learned to help. Power isn't the laugh you squeeze out of a crowd, it's the quiet control that makes everyone safer, including you. There will always be another circle somewhere, a hallway, a comment thread, a bus stop. There will also be someone like Amara, or maybe that someone is you, choosing to bow to the space, to respect yourself, to refuse the script where the loudest wins. The strongest people I've met aren't the ones who hit hardest. They're the ones who move with purpose and let that purpose be kindness. That's what turned a lawn into a lesson, a court into a classroom, and an enemy into a neighbor. Before we close, I want to hear from you. Share in the comments a time you saw respect defeat cruelty, or a moment you wish you could redo now that you know better. Your story might be the hand someone else needs to reach for today. And if this touched you, please like this video, share it with a friend who could use some courage, and subscribe to Heartfelt Tales. Tap the bell so you never miss a story where bravery is contagious and kindness is the plot twist we keep choosing together. I'll be reading your comments. Tell me what part of Amara's journey stayed with you, and what boundary you're ready to draw for yourself or for someone who needs you to stand in their corner.